Yo, what is going on YouTube? Welcome back to episode 92 of the Casual Weebs podcast. My god, was it an amazing, slow roll to the beginning of the winter season. We have a couple of animes that have dropped. The big hitters have yet to come. They're coming, I think, this weekend and next week, which I'm stoked for. But my god, is the anime we've gotten so far amazing. We're going to be talking, of course, about Sentence to Be a Hero. I'm just saying, we did talk about it in the winter preview. Like, we were talking about this weeks ago. So, yeah, everyone's on the hype train now as it dropped a episode fucking 1 hour episode fucking banger. There we go, find our words here. But I do apologize for the late video. I had family stuff in the beginning of the week and it fucked up scheduling, but it kind of worked out because we had a couple more animes to now talk about since we kind of like delayed when we're gonna record, and I'm hyped to get into it. Also, winter has brought us drama, which I'm honestly all for. I saw Kaguya-sama Loves War drop 2 eps. I'm like, all right, let's check this out and hear that they're getting a new season. And it was like climbing into adulthood or something like that. And I'm like, what is this after school fucking special? I'm like, I'm just gonna stay away from this. I'm good. I got a weird feeling about it. I was right. I went on the TikTok. It's a hentai now. Our pure and innocent Kaguya-sama Loves War. There's a sex scene in it, and everyone's going ballistic. And I'm like, okay, I'm kind of glad I stayed away because I love it for the announcer, the comedy, the pureness. And what are we doing now, boys? Now, there's controversy, not for the scene. The manga readers, as you can imagine, are thrilled. They've been waiting for this to be animated, I guess, since episode 1. But what happened is that it kind of like showed how much was skipped over since the last season, and that got people talking about, yo, Kaguya-sama Loves War actually missed a lot that was in the manga, and with 1 season left, it seems like they're gonna be missing a lot more. It's gonna be an anime that, even though it's really good if you're anime only, if you read the manga, you know there's so many amazing moments that are being left out and missed, and that sucks to fucking see. But that is becoming a common trend now because last season of one of our favorite animes, Gachiakata, it dropped like what was it, animated 90 some chapters of the manga.
I think like 80, 85.
Yeah,
It like basically did half of what the manga has because the manga just dropped chapter 160.
yeah, which was amazing. We talked about how well paced it was. It didn't feel too slow, not too fast. It was perfect. It also dropped 24 episodes. Now, Fire Force, that we've been talking about, how we're excited to come back this season, part 2, its series finale, is adapting 88 chapters in 12 episodes. Yeah. Yeah. So, Kaguya-sama Loves War, Fire Force, these are 2 animes that are getting hit by we're kind of rushing to close. And it's kind of a common thing with certain anime, so it's becoming kind of more popular. You hate to see it, especially when it's like a really good popular series that's kind of coming to an end. Like, bro, do that ending right. But that kind of leads us to a question here. What would you rather have? You have a series that you love, right? And it has enough manga material for 2 seasons. Would you rather, one, A, have them just adapt if it's only getting 1 more season? Just adapt like the first like 40 chapters, right? Just do 40 chapters, give us a good season. You know what I mean? I want my last memory of this series to be a good season that was well paced, done right, and it was awesome. And then we have that thought in our head of like what could have been that last season. You know what I mean? That could have been finale. Or B, would you rather just have them adapt all 80 chapters into that last season, have it be rushed, but at least you get the ending? You know what I mean? At least you get that close to a series that you've been following. Because that's something that people are going to have to make a decision of. You know, if you only have like 1 more season you can kind of put into this anime, do you rush the ending just so it has one? You know what I mean? And it might be rushed and a lot of stuff might be missing. Or would you rather do it justice? You know what I mean? Like give it a good fucking last season to kind of remember it by and kind of move on. So let us know in the comments down below which one you'd rather prefer. Honestly, in my opinion, I think I prefer A. Like, you know, when you throw that ending, that's just there, I feel like that just leaves such a bad taste in your mouth about it, and it's just like, that's how we're gonna remember this. We went on this beautiful journey together, and this is how we're coming to a close. It's a disaster, boys, but it's becoming more and more of a thing.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I think it kind of speaks to like a greater, without getting too far off track, it speaks to like a
Mm-hmm.
greater like movement, I think, in every industry, every bit of entertainment, like trying to maximize monetization and make money off it without putting out too much. I'm sure almost all of these studios, especially for the heavy hitters, have other projects that are moderately popular. And like, I never really thought about like, all right, let's say we have 150 chapters. You could do 4 12-episode seasons, or you could try and cram everything into 2. Like maybe 24-episode seasons. Like, I don't know the flexibility. And then it's like, well, you don't really have enough to like make that back end or the front end of that second season. Maybe you got a crazy finale and this is all build up. Like, it's kind of tough to break it down, but I just kind of see a lot of things going that way. I'm with you. I'd rather see you take like One Punch Man, not completely, but 6, 7 years off, whatever, a decade, and come back with the final season and do it justice and be like, hey, whatever, XYZ, versus like just trying to pump something out. Because there's a lot of examples of that. And I think fans were, 9 times out of 10 dissatisfied, especially if you've read the source material. I think that, you probably have a better or bigger emotional attachment to the manga or the story or the characters or whatever. I mean, Tokyo Ghoul is a prime example. Feel like, you know, Jujutsu Kaisen's ending wasn't perfect. And it's tough to be like, I'm not working for the production team or writing the
Hmm.
manga. So like it's easier said than done, but it is a little disappointing. I think Fire Force you could probably get away with cramming more into a shorter time frame just because it's shonen. It's maybe not as complex as something like Kaguya-sama, which tons of side characters with relationship dynamics, and a lot of them, like look at Koenji for example. He hasn't really fit into the main plot yet, but my man is lurking. He's kind of a key player at like these end, this end season or these end chapters or whatever. So it's hard to say like, yeah, yeah, just rush it. You know what I mean? Like I'd rather have the end of the anime. Well, like you said, you might miss out on a ton of really great dialogue or great moments just because you're trying to hit, the spark notes, if you will. So I do see most things moving in that direction versus, trying to pump stuff out and then you get animes that are like Demon Slayer, JJK, Spy Family that have a budget and fan base big enough to be like, well, here's a 2-hour movie. You know what I mean? Like that'll satisfy people for a while, but I mean, it's so few and far between to be able to get that level of production that I don't think it's really fair to kind of expect any anime to go that hard unless it is, of that caliber.
I think it's just I like before we finally get into the winter season because we have four bangers we're actually going to talk about. I think what it is that it's kind of like the Mappa effect mixed with there's a lot of new up and coming stuff, right? Because like Mappa, what they decided to do was okay, let's lock everybody indoors, never let them ever see their families again or the light of day or anything, and have them working nonstop, and then let's pick up every hot project we possibly fucking can, right? And that's how they made a
Mm.
name for themselves because they animated everything that was like number one for like a minute. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, Mappa's like them. Like, okay, anything that's gonna be huge is gonna be by Mappa, right? And you can't like people don't work that way. Like,
Yeah.
that's how you break people. But I feel like that's what other animation studios are like. Oh well, fuck. If we're gonna make money, that's what we have to do too. And if you're a studio that can only have 5 projects on, you know what I mean? You see all these up and coming anime or mangas that are about to be animated, and you see everyone bidding on them, trying to get them, and you're like, shit. I have this one anime that like we've had it for like 7 years now. You know what I mean? It's got like 1 or 2 seasons left. Like, let's just push this one out so we can bring on something new. You know what I mean? That's what I think is like kind of going
Right.
on with these rushed endings to these animes. It's because they're just trying to be able to add more to the workload, especially something fresh, something new, something that's gonna bring in a new wave. To bring in more money because I don't think the margins on animating is that high, and that's what I kind of feel like is kind of going on right now because yeah, I mean, you also see too. We talk about it a lot because we've been talking a lot about studios when we talk about like new animes dropping. Like Bones has been one we've been talking a lot more about. You know what I mean? And it really seems like they are taking the Mappa approach, where it's like, hey, some of this hot stuff coming out, let's put our name on it, let's get on that, and help expand quote unquote the brand. And I feel like that's kind of why we're seeing these rushed endings. I don't think it's necessarily a budget thing. I think it's just more, hey, let's just make more room type of thing. Let's let the old dog leave so we can bring in something newer. You know what I mean?
Nah, you make a super good point, and animation does not make money. Like I think
Yeah.
there's really popular animators.
Mm-hmm.
The only one I know, and this is fucking terrible, for how often I glaze. Every week we're like, oh, the animation was sick, the art was sick. Megumi Ishitani's done some legendary One Piece. I forget the guy who does Jujutsu Kaisen, but like there's a few like all stars that I'm sure like fetch a higher price for an episode because of their talent and all that. But like it's not like every animator's like that. So you're right, they're not making a ton of money or like. And I only know this because I've watched it 500 times, and anytime I have more than like 2 beers, I got to go back and watch Skuna versus Maharaga. Thunderclap Part 2, Episode 41. It's like it's always in like my top picks at Crunchyroll. Like, hey, you drinking? You want to watch this again? So I was like, ah, shit. But like, it's so incredible. But it's not like the success of that episode made $1 million and they went to the key animators and panelists and were like, hey, here's $100,000. Thanks for making a great episode. Like, it just doesn't work like that. So I think to kind of like double down on your point, it's probably you're right. More of like, all right, let's get some of these new premieres and this new source material and put our stamp on it and have it that way. If it blows up a la Gachiakuta, we get to reap the benefits as the animation studio or however it breaks down. But it doesn't always like lean to the best of quality. But like you said, margins are really small, and it's all about getting, the early bird gets the worm, so to speak. You want to be the first to get on Gachiakuta, which Bones had that ages ago, and like the timing of it worked out so well for them because they were pretty much done with Thousand Year Blood War. It wasn't like, all right, we picked up Gachiakuta, and now we have these two massive franchises to animate. Like that usually doesn't turn out too well, but I think it worked out really well for them. And honestly, one more point to that, Chinese studios are balling. I think
Yeah.
last year we had a couple really impressive Chinese studios,
Mhm.
regardless of politics and all that fucking stupid bullshit. They be making some heat, bro. So like hopefully, we could kind of expand. Netflix is doing a really good job with certain titles. Netflix, China, you know what I mean? Maybe we could like expand a little bit and everybody can eat. Maybe a little more
Yeah.
money goes around, but I feel like that's wishful thinking. But we'll see.
But it's like you said too, like there's certain key animators that make like a decent amount. Well, the one that was like super popular, I don't know animators yet, I don't know the names, but the one that was working on that one Gachiakuta episode, it was like, oh, this is the first episode that they're animating, that they're working on this year. I'm like, brother, it's the end of the year. So when you talk about a lot of these animators that are like super well known, that kind of make more than others, it's like, yeah, they probably work on like 1 or 2 episodes a year. You know what I mean? It's not like they're working on like every
Mm.
episode of a certain anime. And like, there's a really popular video game. You guys probably heard of it, Dispatch, right? Blew the fuck up, right? It was awesome. A lot of people were coming out about that. Like, there was a bunch of YouTubers that were like voice actors for it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, like we got paid like 2 grand for the whole fucking project." Like, I think when it comes to
Oh,
anime, I think we really overestimate how much money people are making. Like, that's the problem with like content, is that like people make a lot less than you think. You think someone's like balling out, and it's like they're not. Like these
uh,
studios, their margins are real small. These VAs, they really aren't making a whole lot. You know what I mean? The mangakas, I don't think that they're making a whole lot either. You know what I mean? Like even if they have something that's super popular, I don't think that they're doing a whole ton because like a lot of the popular VAs too, they're in like everything. You know what I mean? Like Alejandro Saab, I talk
yes.
about him all the time. I absolutely love the guy. He is like the main character in like every big anime. He's in every big anime regardless. He'll play the side character or something. But I think he makes way more off of streaming than he does voice acting. And you know what I mean? And he's at like the top of the game. So that's like one of the problems where I think we're a little too judgmental over production when you gotta realize that like shit, like they really aren't making a whole lot, especially for what they're doing. Like there's not a whole lot of money in it, especially because there's so many places that has to be distributed.
Nah, you make such a good point. And like I just looked up some of like the best animators in 2025 for anime.
Mm-hmm.
I literally only know Megumi Ishitani, but like it's like a bunch of the Dan people, Demon Slayer, Frieren, and then it's like, oh yeah, well they also worked on Look Back, Chainsaw Man, another Demon Slayer guy,
Mm-hmm.
Gachiakuta. So they do kind of like, and voice acting is even more this way. Where like, oh my god, this is so bad. What the fuck is Nanami's voice actor in Japan?
Oh, I don't know his name. I know exactly who you're talking about though.
Everybody
Dude,
knows
he's the
that. That's so
goat.
bad.
Yeah.
I follow him on Instagram. I'm just drawing a blank right now.
Yeah, I'm bad
But
with
like,
names.
they have like iconic voices and accents and stuff. So like, it's hard not to go with people like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure it's hard for new people to break through. And like, we've even sent each other stuff and mentioned this before. Fan animation is getting really good. I mean, shit, we
Bro.
got the rest of Jujutsu Kaisen pretty much animated already for like a hobby, which is like
Kagurabachi's
cool. But
already animated already. Like the amount of fucking fight scenes of Kagura fucking Bachi that I've sent you, where a fan animated it and it looks incredible. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, like you can post this on Crunchyroll, like it meets the quality. Like what? It's insane.
it's crazy, but it is kind of like sad to know like such a huge project probably just goes to like one, the top of the umbrella and trickles down to all the other little people. Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure the authors, like I would hope they make a pretty good chunk. I know Hakazono from Kagurabachi was like, yeah, with just the success of the manga, like it's got confirmed for an anime. He's like, I'm making much more money than I ever have. And like I think he's 24 or 25, so
Yeah.
he's young, but it's not like he's like out here on a yacht. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's probably like that for almost every manga except for maybe One Piece, even though we know Oda's just constantly writing week to week. He doesn't have time to enjoy his life for the most part. So like it is tough, but that's why I'm always like just support it. Even if like a manga you like doesn't get the best adaptation. We're not talking about UT8, but or One Punch Man. Like just watch it and kind of support it. Because people like busted their ass and did the best they could with what they had or the budget and time constraints and stuff. What you said about Mappa is also very true too. Like they're working like 16, 18-hour days. They weren't going home. They're sleeping at the office.
They're still that
And then they had
way.
to
Like let's.
they had and they had to sign NDAs to like not be able to come out and say like Mappa's fucking insane. So like, I think there's still a lot behind the scenes, and like Japanese work culture is pretty intense in the first place. So
Yeah.
it's unfortunate, but trying to be like appreciative and be a fan and like support, but also not like go too hard and be like, oh well, Kagurabachi needs Megumi Ishitani animating every episode. Like, no, it doesn't, bro.
Yeah, dude, I totally get that. Let's we've went on way too much of a rant. We went
back in
bro,
here.
we were like, all right, let's like bring this up, and it went so far. Let's actually get into winter so far of 2026. We have 4 bangers to talk about. Which one do you want to get into first? Do we talk about Dick Sensei being back? Do we talk
Yeah,
about Sentence to be a Hero? Like,
I loved Sentence to be a Hero.
Yeah.
So that I feel like we'll do that one first.
Okay.
That was like really surprising. Like we knew there was hype for it. You have an hour-long premiere. Okay, that's sick. The animation was off the fucking chart, and I love your note. You know, it gives like vibes from different animes, and like we had said that about Togen Anki, but like not in the same way. Like Clevitus, Cabaneri, To Your Eternity, kind of like even Hell's Paradise, I thought, with like the really vibrant colors, the forest action.
Yes.
And like the aspect of nature being tainted into these like demonic forms and stuff. I was like, wow, very familiar with a lot of stuff we're fans of, but very fresh.
Exactly.
You know, when you have like almost that fantasy isekai vibe, knights, demons, goddesses, like all the shit that you like into like this fresh new package that was an hour long. I was like, dude, 10 out of 10, just magnificent. You meet a ton of characters, but you don't get familiar with almost any of them. A little bit more the MC than anybody else, but it's episode 1.
Yeah.
You have a lot of action in one episode. You still don't really know much about the plot. Like it was so perfectly well done that you weren't just like, oh, this was like a 6-hour movie. I'm like, dude, I need episode 2. I'm here for the fucking season. That was a great way, I think, to come out a little earlier than, like you said, some of the heavy hitters and be like, we're making our stamp. Sentence to be a Hero is really sick, and it's going to hold up against everything else this season.
Dude,
10 out of 10.
I'm scared because of it. Because like we've talked about it, like it's very very common that when an anime like drops fucking heat instantly right out of the gate, it always fades out. It just burns a little too hot, and then it just blows a fuse, and it just doesn't have a good middle to end of the season. So I'm really hoping with how good this episode was that it can like follow through and keep it going. Because with Clevitas, that dropped an hour-long banger last year too, and it was like really good.
Yes.
And that anime had a lot of follow-through. It had a strong full season. You know what I mean? I binged that shit in a day. But the first episode didn't hit quite as hard as this. Like they went all out on this episode 1. That's the one thing that makes me a little nervous. Other than that, I absolutely love it. I think it's really really cool. I love so far we're getting teased where like he had a former goddess that he was like made a pact with, and she went kind of like rogue. So their power can be consumed. Well, their power can be overused, and that makes them vulnerable to like the corruption. And his goddess turned corrupt, and he had to kill her, which I think is fucking insane. And now he has to deal with like the trauma of like that death. It kind of reminds me of Kakashi a little bit. You know what I mean? Where like he kind of wants to give her like the attention she wants, but then it reminds him of his old goddess, and he's like freaked out about it. He's like nah, like, and he doesn't trust her because of that either, and he's like very like wary of her using her powers because he knows what happens if she overdoes it. You know what I mean? So like that whole aspect's really cool, but also dealing with like the institution that he like works for. You know what I mean? Because like they seem like pieces of shit. You know what I mean? And this kind of seems like a Rudo moment where it's like, hey yo, he's gonna fucking kill all of them, and I am all fucking for it. I can't wait for that. I cannot wait for that to kind of like see like who really like set him up and how he goes after them. I think that's what the plot's mainly gonna be. It's gonna be kind of like 2 plots. One where he does like his hero duties and like defeats demon lords. Which apparently there's multiple. This guy's killed multiple of them. Episode 1, demon lord dead. Awesome. That's something. But then it's also gonna be him hunting down and getting revenge for what happened to him. So I think that's gonna be like really really cool. It can be interesting, and again, we just hope for consistency this season, because when you burn this hot out of the gate, they always burn out like 9.8, like 98% of the time.
Yeah, you make a really good point there, and it doesn't need to be this caliber. You know what I mean? You got me hooked. I'll be there for a few more episodes, but yeah, hopefully the quality doesn't retract a lot because they went so hard for the first episode. Another thing that I know was a motherfucking hit to the budget, that music is incredibly orchestral. It's regal. It's classical. It literally, like, in the middle of an incredible fight scene, I stopped. I paused it. We were not watching anime at work. Never do that. Never get paid. Never get paid to watch anime at work. Bad. Bad. I would never do it. But anyway, I literally am watching it at work on my phone. I pause it, and I was just like, dude, this music reminds me of like Bloodborne or like a boss fight in the OG Dark Souls. And like those were done with like a 90 something piece orchestral, like full band.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the vibes I was getting. The music was really impressive. It added a lot of like depth and intensity. Like the scene where Xylo, our MC, is standing kind of calling for that bitch captain that won't give him any credit even though he saved their lives. He's like looking for the goddess. He's looking for his piece of shit thief friend who did come up clutch, by the way.
Yo, he's awesome. I'm gonna love him moving forward. He's gonna be funny as fuck.
Incredible dynamic, dude. But like, you know, all you see is like the goddess's flames and like the smoke, and he's just like, you know, like you said, that trauma or PTSD of like, fuck, here we are again.
Yeah.
And like the music's tense, it's creepy, it's stressful. It was like, dude, this is setting the scene really, really well. So there's like a lot of layers to this that I think you don't need every layer every episode, but you've got an incredibly good formula. Keep pulling from that and make the rest of this season that exciting, because that shit was diabolical. The music was amazing.
Dude, it definitely was a great start of like peak anime coming into 2026. Like phenomenal first episode, really, really, really good. I also got to say too, Tamons B side. That was the first anime so far I've seen in the winter season. I gotta say that was a good first episode for the new year. Like you gotta admit, it's pretty fucking good, no?
It's great. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
you're gonna have to police me when we talk about this, because I'm just gonna like interject myself here, probably more than I should. I've said a few times, maybe once or twice, you know, on the pod, that I'm a bit of a K-pop fan. You know, know a little bit about idol culture,
just a little bit,
just a little bit. This like really fucking hits home. Like it's very accurate. I think there's a lot more truth to it than most people realize. If I was cleaning any idol's house that I have a fandom for, you know, like she's like, oh, like I'm being a bad fan, and then like towards the end of episode 1, she was like, oh yeah, to all his like other fans out there, I'm gonna be a bad fan. I don't give a fuck. I'm cleaning his house. It's like, dude, you would have to fire me. You would have to fire me for sure. There's no way I could do it. But like the duality of them, like it's such a really good like kind of I don't want to say relationship and like romantic, even though it is certainly budding that way. Like she's like, oh, you know, he's this like super sexy idol, he's on magazines, he's on TV, and like, you know, like his other persona is so gloom and doom, gloomy horror, hysterical.
Great
very
name.
Cute. Great name.
But then she swaps
like,
it up to Hana Hara as well. Like she just keeps switching it.
And like, dude, I follow enough bullshit that it's like, you know, they're coming out with their fan name and stuff at the beginning of the season for like the group face. Like really good, very accurate. Somebody on this production team is a hardcore Oshi, because they know too much about the game. They know ball. But like it was cool too. Again, I'm probably just gonna out myself this season. He really reminds me of like G-Dragon. Like he's got a little bit of like anxiety. He's like always looking around and like has like little quirky personality and like very low self-confidence, even though he's like a sex icon with like millions of girls out there. But he's got the hots for like this regular fan who like took a part-time job to spend money on his group.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know. I can totally not resonate with it at all. No, I'm just kidding. I think it's phenomenal. The first 2 episodes were extremely funny. The dynamic's really cool, and like the real life idol stuff, being somebody who does this shit all the fucking time, it was like very easy to get attached to it quick. So Tamons B side hitting home.
Bro,
nice pick, brother.
I'm so pissed because like so when we did the winter preview video, right, I missed 2 animes that I completely forgot to talk about, and I ended up putting them like in the description, or I think like in the comments, being like, oh hey, by the way, I forgot this, you should watch this still. Tamons B side was actually one of them. I saw like clips of this and I'm like, bro, it looks so good, it looks so wholesome, it looks so funny, like, and I completely forgot to talk about it. So for anyone who's completely lost, Tamons B side is this anime about this girl who's a mega fan of this boy group named Face. Now it's awesome because we're getting a lot of idol stuff recently too, but it's all female groups like K-pop Demon Hunters, Oshinoko. Getting a guy group, like it gets you into that side of it as well. And there's one guy in particular in the group that she absolutely obsesses over, and it's funny too because she freaks out and her family's like, "Yo, chill the fuck out. It's hilarious, those moments. But she pretty much goes and she talks about how, like, there's a concert coming up. She gets a ticket. She's hyped. And she's like, all right, well, I need to go to work to support my Oshi. You know what I mean? I need to make money to spend it all on him. You know what I mean? And her rooms, of course, is a shrine to him. Posters everywhere, a literal shrine. And she cleans houses. Well, one of her coworkers was sick in the hospital, and she needed to replace her, right? For, like, do her run as well. And she notices that one of the houses that her coworker does has the same name as her favorite idol. And she's like, oh, no shot. That's no. This isn't an anime, right? That's not happening. It is. It's actually him. And like, his like I don't even know what you'd say. His like type. I don't know. Like the I don't even know what to kind of say. Like what it would be called.
He's the visual baby. He's the main visual.
Yeah, his like I guess like trope. I guess is like the sexy, handsome heartthrob, right, of the group, right. That's like his role. That's what I guess meant to say, his role, right? So she ends up going there and ends up realizing that in real life he's the complete opposite. Like he wears a hoodie completely over his head. He's like freaking out the entire time. He has high anxiety. He doesn't know how to talk to people. He's constantly overthinking and worrying. Like he's a disaster, which is why she calls him Gloomy Hara. Because he's like very gloomy, really hard on himself. And she's like, "Yo, what the fuck?" So they have this awesome dynamic where like she's like his ultimate hype girl. Like just hypes him up. It's like, nah, I got you. I'm gonna help you out with this. Okay, you got a meet and greet. Like, all right, let's go shopping. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's rehearse what you're gonna say to people. Like literally coaching him through everything. And it's awesome because on one hand, you have him who's like he's like really hard on himself and like he like isn't like around people. He's very isolated because he's a celebrity, and he gets super happy when he sees her, and you see that like other side of him, and he starts like come out of his shell a little bit and kind of like grow, which is awesome. But on her side too, she's like a mega fan who's like really split between like, hey, I'm getting to know you on like a personal level. Like when she like thinks about him now, it's not like the sexy guy like on TV or on magazines. It's Gloomy Hara who she thinks of. You know what I mean? Like they become genuine friends. But at the same time too, she like objectifies him, idolizes him, worships him, and it's so funny because in episode 2, her friends are talking about like, oh, our boys are getting real popular. Like, God forbid they end up with like some like crazy girl, like the delusional girl gets a little too close to them, we'll fucking kill her. You know what I mean? And they all start like this really fucking weird chant of like, yeah, we'll kill her. Yeah, we'll fucking kill that bitch together.
Murder.
And meanwhile, our MC's sitting there like, oh, that's me.
She's like ring around the rosy, like, yeah, murder, and she's like, fuck.
They're gonna kill me. Like if they find out, I'm dead. That's literally what she's doing. So it's like a really funny, really wholesome anime. It's absolutely phenomenal. It's just like dude, it's just so good. I don't know what to say. I literally just watched a new episode that dropped right before this. I'm just sitting there like all giggly, like, oh, dude, it's so like I don't know what to say. Like it's like one of the like feel good animes of winter. Like it's the anime that like you want to just like wake up on the weekend and just watch. You know what I mean? And just chill out and just enjoy. Like this is my like anime so far of winter. I know there's a lot of good ones I'm gonna love, but this is my comfort anime. Tamons B is for sure my comfort anime this season.
Dude, I totally agree. And like, yeah, it just like hits a soft spot for me. And like I know from following closely like relationships, especially as an idol, and like there's the newest boy group that won like best rookie at a bunch of the award shows at the end of the year. They're like, I want to say 16 to like 20, so they're like young. You're at that stage in your life. They be flirting with all their fans, holding hands and like like cracking jokes and stuff, which is like totally not allowed. It is absolutely not cool. And the one girl's like, and like I'm not gonna like bring it up because I don't want no drama or whatever, but she's like, oh, I saw you holding hands at another fan signing event. And he was like, you want to hold hands? Like, oh shit, I'm busted. And he's like, you want to hold hands? And the girl's like, just grabs his hands. So like the
Thought you never asked.
way that, I know. And he's just cracking up. It's like, ah, Martin, you dog. I know what you're doing. But like the way they represent the fans and like, I just want to say like the accuracy. Like I've met idols before, and like if you think I'm just there like, yeah, hey, what's up? Like at a metal show, you know what I mean? Everyone's like trying to come off as tough. Nah, bro. They're like, oh yeah, you want to make a heart? It's like, yeah, I do. So embarrassing, but like it resonates so well. If I were to be a fan, like, maybe.
I mean, the thing is, we see that all the time, like everything else too. Like we watch K-pop, Demon Hunters, Oshinoko, and there's like so many more that's also dropping. Like the culture with the community is very passionate and also very toxic.
Thank you.
It's
that's a perfect way to put it.
Yeah, like they were beefing in the line too for the meet and greet. Like I don't know. Listen, if you like idol stuff, like you're gonna love Tamons B side. I genuinely think it's an amazing anime. The art and animation too are also great. He performs in episode 1, and like the music's also fucking popping as well. Like I love the music. So like I think Tamons B side was like literally like one of the greatest like introductions to the winter season for me. So I was like, dude, like this came out of nowhere. Like I kind of saw like a clip of it and I was like, oh yeah, this is good. People should watch this. Let's recommend this. And I forgot. But then I ended up watching episode 1. I'm like, yo, this is so fucking good. Like when I turned it on to, I was like, yo, this is good shit. This is top quality. So I think that was pretty awesome. But of course too, speaking of, speaking of Golden, we do have Golden Kamuy is back, dude. Like
Oh, what a segue!
I fumbled it. I fumbled it though. I was like, oh fuck.
Genius.
But, yeah, we brought it back. We brought it back, bro. Hearing what's her face say Dick Sensei again, I completely forgot about that, and it like just re-entered my brain. I was like, holy fuck, Dick Sensei, dude! I forgot about Dick Sensei. How do you forget about Dick Sensei, bro? He's the goat.
Well, and we both binged 48 or 9 episodes. Binge is a light word. I love this anime. It was incredibly easy to watch and dive into.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was like right when we first started the pod, or like maybe a couple months in. Like it feels like a while ago.
It was a while ago.
I was gonna say, not to mention, I have like the list of titles we watched, and it was like, dude, you've seen a lot of shit over the course of like whatever 2 years. Golden Kamuy, this episode was so fun because it was like a great refresher. I like the whole time it's like, oh, there's Ogata, that scumbag, and then like a Serpa's like, oh, Dick Sensei, and you're like, Sensei, oh, how can I forget? Yeah, Dick Sensei. And then of course that piece of shit Shirashi, I think that's how you say his name. They're like, talking about what they do with the money, and everybody's drinking and like, chumming it up in the way that they do in Golden Kamuy. And he's just like, no morals, is never telling the truth. Like he's kind of a piece of shit, but he's so funny and like harmless. You're like, you can't hate him. But it was a great way to kind of get back to the other characters, and they really did a great job of picking up exactly where they left off. Like there's no weird gap or like a reintroduction episode that like takes you back, and you got to watch a recap and stuff. It was a phenomenal way to be like, hey, we're back, and it is the final season, so we'll find out what madness happens with the treasure and kind of how they get the skins and everything. And there's one scene that I remember reading from the manga, because I can't just watch something and then not spoil it for myself.
Of course.
One of the hardest panels I've ever seen. I cannot wait for it to be animated.
Dude, I'm so excited. And like the funny thing is too that like Golden Kamuy is that when you watch it, it's like very Scooby-Doo-ish too, because like everyone's always together. Like there's like a multiple. Okay, so they're looking for gold, right? There's gold that went missing. They're of course looking for it. And it's very chaotic and a mess, right? Now, you have multiple factions that are kind of looking for this gold. And, like, for example, like, they're all in this one town. And, like, one dude grabs this other guy. They're fighting, which leads to a brawl that goes into the restaurant that they're all at. So they're like, hey, wait, you guys. They start then fighting, which then leads to the other group being like, wait, yo, you guys, and then they start fighting, and then you have 5 different groups that are all, like, running around past each other, and then all end up fighting each other. Like, it's a fucking disaster, but that's Golden Kamuy, and it's so fucking funny.
And then they all end up drinking, like, 8 minutes after this.
Yeah.
And, like, yo, this shit had me dying. The dude with the blockhead.
Yeah.
Is that Dick Sensei?
That's Dick Sensei.
Yeah, I'm sorry, bro. That's your name for the rest of the show. It's Dick Sensei.
It is.
He's literally shows up. He's chasing a criminal, and he's like, "Yo, Sugimoto, like, long time no see." And it's immediately on site. Like,
yeah.
You piece of shit. You set me up last season. They're squaring up, and it was like, oh, this is badass. And then the guy with like the crazy beard and long green hair.
The pirate? Oh, wait.
Yes, the pirate.
Yeah, slams the table. Ah, shit, I thought that worked.
He was like, yo, long time no see, Dick Sensei. And he's like, got the table like in his face, and he's like, yo, good to see a pirate. And you just see him get like thrown back into the restaurant, and he's like, oh shit. Like the intensity, but the comedy and like camaraderie of it makes Golden Kamuy so easy to watch. But also, like, maybe this is a little more personal, but like the historical context of like the Sino-Japanese War, and they're in Sapporo, which is like northern Japan, away from the main island, which like is connected to Russia. Like they do a really good job of subtly like making the plot fit in with some like historical references and stuff that I think are really cool.
They brought up Jack the Ripper, which is awesome too. How like the murders are being like replicated, but then overlapping with the city that's like very similar to the one in England. I'm like, dude, that's fucking tough. Like that's sick.
Yes, and like the conversation where I guess Sugimoto doesn't say anything, but it's the old head who kind of is like that other faction, and then the military.
Yeah.
So you have the military, you have Sugimoto and kind of the remnants of the Sino-Japanese War, and then this old head who was in prison and knows about the skins too. she's like, well, what would you do? Like, if you get all the gold and you're in power, like, what are you gonna do? And like, they all kind of talk about how they're gonna like incorporate the Ainu and like protect their culture and stuff. And it was like, wow, that's like, they kind of give it to you at the surface level, like as a part of the plot.
Mm-hmm.
But it is kind of like a cool way of like incorporating historical context into an anime where, that's not like, it's not World War II. It's not like a really famous instance in history. That's something I do love about Golden Kamuy. The uniforms, constantly being in Hokkaido, Sapporo, like that northern Japanese area we never really get in anime, is also like a really nice historical touch. But not everybody's gonna be like gooning over that. Or I'm like, oh yes, we love a little bit of history with our entertainment.
That's actually so fucking funny. I didn't realize until now. There actually like, is no female fan service. It is just dudes. It is just
Homoerotic fan
Yeah, it
service.
is dudes at its peak. Like I don't know what else to say. Dude, the Russian guy, I fucking love that dude too. We're like, Ogata, Ogata. He's like, I got him. He grabs the gun and he doesn't know fucking anything. He's like, I'll find this motherfucker. He just finds like a rooftop and he's like looking for him. I'm like, bro, like if you haven't seen Golden Kamuy, just go fucking watch it. It's so fucking. It's the dude's anime. I don't know how else to say it. Like I know a lot of people are saying about like Chainsaw Man with like Denji. We're like, oh yeah, Denji's super relatable. He's a bro. It's like, dude, it's Golden Kamuy. Like there's no question about it.
In a way, he's relatable. He's just a horny teenager who needs to get, he needs to beat some cheeks or something.
Yeah.
Denji has a horrible life. My life is not relatable to Denji in any way. But like, I'm trying to like explain Golden Kamuy to my buddy who watches anime, my coworker, and I'm like, oh, it's funny. Like the one scene they're in the hot tub and like they have like I forget what the aphrodisiac is. Then they're like with enemies.
Beaver? I think it's like beaver fat that was being rendered.
Beaver fat or seal fat or something.
Otter, I think. I don't know, something.
I think it is otter fat.
Yeah.
But either way, I'm like, they all kind of get like a little zesty, and my man is like, yo, are you telling me to watch like a zesty anime? I'm like, well, no, it's like, that's the comedic aspect of it. Like, there's no female fan service, but it's really funny. And like,
don't worry, there's no women. There's no women.
And they're all ripped. All the guys are in really good shape. And like, and he's just like, what are you talking about, bro? It's like JoJo, but a little more, like war centric.
You
like,
see
definitely
ass.
check it out.
You know what I mean?
see some fucking glutes, bro, that were trained by war. No, but that shit is so funny.
Bro, I don't know how else to explain it. Golden Kamuy isn't an anime you can explain. It's just something you just gotta go watch. It's just plain and simple. It's just the fucking best anime ever.
It seems like a big, like, piece to chew with 48 or 9 episodes. Like, that's a bit of a binge.
Nah, fuck that. After this season, when it comes out in dubbed, you know what I mean? Like, when it's, like, fully out, fully dubbed, I'm rewatching the entire thing from episode 1 to the last. It's just that good. It's just that funny as well.
It really reminded me of FMA, or Full Metal Alchemist, like, Brotherhood, in the sense that it was like, ooh, like 60-some episodes. Like, that might be a lot. But once you get into it, you're like, oh, fuck, that was like 35 episodes? Holy smokes. Just really, really good. Really fun. I could not recommend Golden Kamuy enough. The perfect balance of like badass, funny, no female fan service, but like it's still really entertaining, and like the historical stuff I love. So I would definitely check it out. I wouldn't say get into it now because it's the very final run and there's a lot of context you would be missing. But
well, get into it now with the first episode, not like this season.
And like,
not skip the entire anime.
Nah, because there's so much that makes this part so satisfying. Especially the end shit is like brutal. It's crazy. You have some insane characters, but yeah, a 10 out of 10 must watch this season.
So with that being said too, we have a lot of back and forth, you know what I mean? Going to Hana, kimi, you haven't seen that one then, I guess, have you?
No, yeah, I haven't, not yet.
Boys, this is a sleeper. I don't know, like, if this is only because it's dubbed. If it was subbed, I actually don't know if I'd watch it or enjoy it as much. I think it's because it's dubbed. It's like some relaxing. You just like just sit back and enjoy. You know what I mean? Like it kind of works. But it's this anime about this girl who's American in the States, and she's obsessed over this guy. He's super good looking. He's her age, and they both are in track and field in the high jump. And he is like really, really good at it. Like he is a master at it. She says his high jumps are like art. Like it's super impressive. So she decides to do is fuck it. You know, we're going to cut our hair, dress as a guy, fly to Japan, forge documents, and enroll in the same all-boys boarding school that he does. They end up being in the same class, and they're roommates. And honestly, it is really, really fucking good. You have a kind of like a love triangle going on, where she's, of course, obsessed with him. He, believe it or not, is not a fucking idiot and knows something's up. He's like, dude, there's something up with you. Like, you have to be a girl. And then you have this third guy who's like this blonde dude, this hyper-energetic ADHD fucking muscle dude, who is Asta's English VA, which is just perfect. Like, it is just, you could not have had a more perfect character. who like is so stupid. He like thinks that she's actually a guy, but his subconscious is smart enough to know that that's a girl. So he's falling for him or her, and he's like, why am I like blushing? Like, why is my heart beating really fast? Because like, she's really good at being a guy too. Like, it's not like annoying. Like, it's actually like really like, she's like, oh yo, they got peach juice. Like, I didn't see that. Like, yo, can I get like a sip? Like, all right, yo, bet. Like, oh, that was really good. And then he's sitting there like, oh, would this be like an indirect kiss? Like, wait, why do I care? That's a guy. Like, wait, why? So you have this blind guy who's having this like crisis in his head because subconsciously he fell in love with the girl, but then consciously he's like, that's a dude. Why do I have these feelings? Like, he has no idea. He doesn't know how to feel, and it's so fucking funny. And the best part is too is that we usually talk about these animes how you have that like, I'm not gonna lie, that older woman, you know, nurse who are like, it's actually a gay guy this time.
Yo,
and it works even better. Yo,
like Kowloon, like the, you know, like the, well, I guess that guy wasn't a guy. He was kind of like
kind of. So it's really funny because he's like he notices immediately. He's like, yo, this is not a guy. And it's funny because Steven brings it up. She's like, hey, like when are we gonna have that talk? When are you gonna tell me why you're here and impersonating a dude? And she goes to talk to him. He's like, yo, like, I'm a gay guy. Like, I know men. You are not a man. And that line is so fucking funny too. So, but it's hilarious because like he's fascinated by the whole thing. He's like, oh, this is interesting. This is entertainment. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna turn you in. Like, I'm just curious.
He's here for the tea. He's here for the tea.
Dude, all for it. He loves it. So like, it's good. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but like, it's actually really fucking good. It's like, it doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel bad. Like, she like is like really good at like pretending to be a guy. And like some of the interactions are great too, because like I said, like the roommate, the guy she's obsessed with, like he kind of knows, like he's definitely onto something where like he's not sure, you know what I mean? But like, at the same time, he doesn't, and of course too, because you know even though she's a girl and like is this guy, she's an attractive dude, so she's become the idol of this all boys school. Dude, it's so fucking funny. Honestly, it's really good. It's got 2 episodes out right now. It dropped so. Tamons B side dropped 2 episodes because you know. We delayed it a little bit, so it ended up coming out last week. And then today, Hana Kimi, though, dropped its first 2 episodes on day 1. And it's, like I said, dropping dubbed with the subs, which is awesome. Makes it super easy to watch. Highly recommend it. It is really fucking good. It's just, like, entertainment. It's good. Again, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I'm not sure if I would have watched it if it wasn't dubbed. But now that I'm watching it, I'm glad I'm watching it. And having 2 episodes is great, too. Like, it honestly... Like, I even put in those... Like, it's like my guilty pleasure of the winter season. I don't know how else to describe it other than that. Like, it's like... I don't know. You have to go see it. If you're bored, which pretty soon you're not going to be, because, like, literally tomorrow JJK comes out. Like, literally
Let's go.
We're airing this the day JJK comes out. It's a fucking disaster. But... I feel like we're something. Hana Kimi. And no one's talking about it either. Like, that's a genuine sleeper of the season. I think it's really good.
That's what you do, bro. You pick up gems, you know? You find these absolute gems. When I was kind of reading your notes, the first thing I'm doing when we hop off is I'm grabbing some Popeyes. Sponsor the pod, Popeyes. Do what you must.
Yo, sponsor the pod.
And I'm watching that would be awesome. I'm watching Hana Kimi. I can't wait. It really reminds me of Orin Host High School, or whatever the title is. I watched it a long time ago. But yeah, same kind of premise. You know, girl pretends to be a boy, and like everybody starts finding out because like there's certain things like she won't do in front of them, or like, you know, mannerisms that are like, my homie wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? What was that? But like it makes for like a pretty entertaining cast and story. I feel like this takes it a little deeper and is like even more in the dynamics of other characters and like what, you know, this, like you said, love triangle is kind of going to be like. It seems extremely, extremely entertaining, and I cannot wait to watch these next couple episodes.
Dude, after you watch it tonight, you have to let me know how it is and what you think of it, and we're also going to be talking about it next week on the podcast when episode 3 drops as well. Because like it really is just super entertaining. It's had a good story too, because like when she gets there, he stopped jumping. Like there's something that happened, I'm not gonna get into it, but like he's not jumping anymore too. So it's like a mystery to figure out like, hey, what happened? And she's trying to get him back into it. So it's pretty fucking interesting. But anyways, yo, listen guys. The winter season has been amazing so far, and it's crazy how nothing has dropped. Like JJK comes out tomorrow. the day of this recording. Frieren doesn't come out until the 16th, so that's not until next week. Same with Hell's Paradise. Hell's Paradise isn't like until what, this weekend? Yeah, Hell's Paradise isn't until Sunday. You know what I mean? We have Fire Force we're still waiting on. Fate we're still waiting on, which, by the way, Fate looks like that's gonna be amazing too. Like, are you fucking kidding me, guys? I heard Trigun, Starcade is supposed to be really good too. And then what was the other one? Because I forgot to talk about two. Let me get into this, boys. Let me find this real quick. It is In the Clear Moonlit Dusk. I heard that is a really good romance anime as well. So we have a lot that hasn't come out yet that is supposed to be really fucking good. So this season's gonna be absolutely stacked. We've already known that, but it's insane how good it is already without any of the main hitters being out. And also, you bet your ass when Frieren drops, we talk about it. I will be wearing the Frieren shirt on that podcast because Frieren. Dude, it's gonna be so good. Like, honestly, I think Frieren's gonna kind of steal the show of this season. I think it's gonna be like amazing because it had the hype in season 1. It didn't get the love it deserved with Anime of the Year. I think it's gonna be coming back. It's gonna be coming back on a revenge tour, and I am all fucking for it. But anyways, that's it. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Hope you guys are excited for this weekend and for next week, and we'll be seeing you next week. Later, guys. Peace.